Welcome, Royal Nation. Welcome to the Varsity Girls Basketball Awards. Last year it took a really long time, so I'm going to try to go as fast as I can, but I can't make any promises. But first of all, for our thank yous, I got to thank my wife. When I first started coaching this year, we had a 2-week-old. When the season ended, we had a 4-month-old. So I'm just really thankful she allowed me to continue to coach these girls this year. Next, I got to thank our coaches, Coach Maddie, Coach Withrow, and Coach Stanton. Just everything they do for the team. I appreciate it a lot. Mr. Eddie and Mr. Hirschberger for videotaping and getting those posted quickly on Huddle for us. And then Megan McNeil, she does our stats for us after each game. We appreciate that a lot. I want to thank everyone that did the book, the announcing, or the clock at times during this year, and that includes April and Andrew Hirschberger, Nate Stuckey, Norm McCullum, Janet Sanford, and Tom Hollywood. And then thank you to April and Janet for setting up all the meals for us and making sure our kids had meals before each game, both the JV and the varsity, and then those parents as well that contributed and brought in food for us. And then lastly, I got to thank Janet as well for running the game manager schedule, making sure every game was covered with a game manager, all of our home games, and getting that done and taking that off my plate. Well, this year was kind of the tale of two different seasons. It was an interesting year. We definitely had some ups and downs, and we definitely had to handle adversity. We came into the year with 8 returning varsity players. We were hoping to bring a couple more up, but the numbers this year just didn't allow us to do that, so we went in with 8 players. We knew we were going to be good, and we started off the gate well. We were 5-1 going into Christmas break, and then we were 8-3 going into the last week of January. Those 3 losses actually came to Pittsford and Athens in our league, and then Calhoun Christian, and all 3 of those teams were ranked this year in the top 10 in the state, and some of them even 2 and 4. So really good competition that we were in those games, but we hadn't played our best game yet, so we were really looking forward to getting better and finish the year really strong, seeing what we could do. But then in that last week of January, our senior point guard, Kenzie, she broke her hand in that game. And then exactly 7 days later, our very next game, we traveled to Bellevue, and Bree dislocated her knee. So we went instantly into everyone on our team having new roles, new responsibilities. Typically, when players get new responsibilities, it's at the beginning of the season, and you have 3 or 4 weeks before your first game to practice those roles and get better at those roles. And our team had to do that on the fly, in season, against the best competition we were going to play that year. But I really thought our team handled that adversity well. We continued to fight, continued to learn, and continued to get better. So we didn't finish with a record we necessarily wanted. We ended up finishing 10-11, but we really had to step up at times, and I thought our girls did that. Next, I'd like to highlight a little bit on each of our players, starting off with Gloria and Jelena. So they came up for districts, and I only had them for a couple practices, but they really wanted to learn. They worked really, really hard, and I'm looking forward to working with them moving forward. Then I want to highlight Serena and Caitlin. So those 2 girls stepped up for us huge when Bree and Ken's got hurt. They came out of their comfort zone, had to learn everything really, really quickly for 1 month of the season, and they did really, really well, and filled those roles and got good minutes for us down the stretch of our season. So I'm really looking forward to working with them for a full season moving forward. Next, I want to highlight Kaylee McCullum. She is a second-year letter winner. She started about 7 games for us this year, but her role, what I needed her to do this season, was be our 6th man of the year, and she played that perfectly. The perfect example of what she brought to our team was against Bellevue, and she hit 3 threes in that game. We needed every ounce of the scoring that we could get. She had an extremely clutch 3 at the end of that third quarter. It was huge for us. She averaged just over 5 points a game and hit 19 threes this year, which actually gives her 26 for her career. Next, we have Diane Miller. She's another second-year letter winner. And she was huge for us down the stretch of this season. Played some big minutes for us. Provided senior leadership when she became the lone senior playing each game. Diane is always positive. She always works hard. She listens extremely well, and she's always where she needs to be. You tell her to do something, and she's there, and she does a great job with it. I'm going to miss coaching her next year. Finally, we have our third second-year letter winner, Maggie Hollywood. So Maggie was the opposite guard for us. It started on all of our games this season. And Maggie is just extremely versatile. She's great both offensively and defensively, and does a lot of different things well for our team. She averaged just under 5 points a game and just over 2 assists a game, and she really showed the potential she has to be really good over the next few years. In her best game when she played against Camden, she had 7 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists in that game. Did a little bit of everything for us, and that was huge and shows her potential. Next up, we have our third-year letter winners. And the first one is Liberty Lymanstall. Liberty was our energy. She brought our energy, especially the second half of the year. When we lost Ken's, we needed somebody to fill that role. And without even asking, Liberty took on that challenge and filled that role. I'm really proud of the way she stepped up for us. Especially in that Bellevue game as well. She brought that energy. She fired us up in with her defense, with her hustle, and helped carry us to a win. Next, we have another third-year letter winner, and Corinna Hirschberger. And don't tell her dad, but she is turning in quite the basketball player. She was a rebounding machine this year. She averaged over 7.5 rebounds a game. In our district game against Litchfield, she pulled in 17 rebounds in that game alone. I also want to highlight she has a work ethic and just a want to get better. I can't even number the amount of times that she asked to stay after practice just to get some extra work in, just so she can get better. So I really think she's getting better and better, and next year is going to be her breakout year in basketball. We have our final third-year letter winner, which is Peyton Hollywood. So Peyton's a captain for us. She does a little bit of everything for our team. So offensively, she averaged 10 points a game. She led our team in shooting percentage. Had almost 6 rebounds a game and averages over 2 assists a game. And defensively, she's the backbone of our defense. So she's the one that's in charge of making sure everybody else is where they're supposed to be. So she's barking out orders in the back, as well as playing her position and protecting that rim. What impresses me most about Peyton is she shows up in the biggest games. So our toughest competitions this year, so Athens, our Camden game, she showed up for those games and played really, really well. Had their best games then. And I'm not the only one that sees it. The coaches in our league actually voted her all-league honorable mention this year. So finally, we have our 2 fourth-year letter winners. Our first one is Kenzie Stuckey. So she's a captain. She sets the tone for our team. She's the heart and soul of our defense, and she's the one we put on the other team's best player. So whether they're a guard or whether they're a big, she is always up for that challenge and gives everything she has. She handled our point guard duties this year, and she averaged 8 points a game and a crazy 6.3 assists a game, as well as providing 4.3 rebounds a game and 4 steals a game. She was actually having such a good season this year, and was playing so well that actually with 8 games left, she was already only 22 assists away from setting our single season record at JCS. And if she would have stayed at the pace she was at, she probably would have ended up actually breaking the career record as well. She was voted by our league, who also acknowledged how good she was this year, and she was voted second team all league. I really miss coaching Ken's next year. And finally, we have Bree Sanford. So she's another 4th-year letter winner and captain, and she is our offensive weapon. So she can attack the basket. She can pass really well. What she really does is she can shoot the 3 ball. Bree averaged over 18 points a game for us this year, as well as 5 rebounds, over 4 steals, and over 2 assists for us this season. She made 46 3-pointers this year in 14 games before the injury, and she was only 8 3-pointers away from setting our single season record. She finished her career with 110 3-pointers made, and that was 20 3-pointers away from setting the career record at JCS. The coaches in our league noticed what a great season she had, and voted her as all league first team. And I think this just goes to show dedication she had, working all summer to get better. And I'm gonna really miss coaching her next year.